significantly bigger than the other. It's the condition giver, and the second is condition taker. So what to care for from the legal aspect, from the legal side. It's difficult because very often you cannot negotiate almost anything. You cannot negotiate any standards.
So it's like 100%, or is there still some room for negotiation?
So typically you can just adhere to the agreement and you take it all. Winner takes it all, you take it or you lose it. But sometimes there are small parts you can negotiate, and I would like to focus on that. So what's very important from the perspective of franchisee is are any restrictions on competition. Be sure that first of all you are the only one shop, point of sale, restaurant in the city from this brand, if it's possible. And the second one, of course it's not always possible, yes, but anytime you can negotiate to be the only one, let's call it McDonald's in one big shopping center, but there are two McDonald's in shopping center, that's too much. Yeah? When it comes to less popular brands or less popular industries, you have to be sure you are the only one in the city or in the region. Otherwise, the things might get very difficult. And be careful if you are not selling your soul by signing franchise agreement. What I mean, sometimes I will constantly get back to the McDonald's. McDonald's very often requires you to give up any other business activity, regardless in the HoReCa industry or any other. So sometimes it's not. I like very much what you might have told about the marriage. Yes, sometimes it is like the marriage. It's not like another business agreement. It's like contracting. It's like signing a contract for many years. Sometimes it's very difficult to exit, to abandon the franchise agreement, even if the network, if the franchisor has problems, legal problems, reputational problems. You have to still get with them, be with them. So really be careful, negotiate what you can, even if it's not much, and be sure you're not selling your soul.
Andrzej, you have something to add here?
Yeah, it's I start from such a scratch. That's the franchise in Poland was born by two situations. The first is defined by the escape from the rivalry and in practical terms from the very strong pressure from many new strong competitors, hypermarkets, discounters, supermarkets, and the traditional entrepreneurs found themselves in a very difficult situation. But on the other hand, it is the idea of optimism, because very many people found the chance in this ocean of competition. Why? Because on the one hand, they understood very well the competitive advantages, the potentials in traditional, very direct, psychologically closing up people, traditional, getting modernized small store areas. And on the other hand, they were absolutely aware what a power, what a strong potentials are embedded in the networks, in the chains. And the escapists fled wherever to leave the old way of doing business, but the others, looking at the chains and then getting networked, they found some new perspective. In Poland, this competition, this ocean of competition, was composed not only by the newcomers from the coming with the foreign capital, Western patterns of living and doing business, but also they were squeezed and pressed by the grand number of competitors of the same kind they were. And the franchise was for the very plucky, very bold people. And they started from that, and very many of them succeeded. And that's the first point of my assessment, of my opinion about franchise. The second point is like that. Nowadays, in contemporary market, contemporary Poland, there is no place for independent small businesses. That's the margin. Reading through the reports, for instance, being prepared by the by bankers, by research companies, I find and still I'm finding the 5% maybe of the market for them. But the small areas is composed of circa 80,000 stores, different stores. 2/3 is composed of FMCG, mainly food, and the rest is composed of the specialized food, some sort of delicatessen, and of course non-food, with some services. What it means indeed? It means that franchising found very strong position, being propelled by the effect of scale and effect of network, of net, and by the quality localization, let's say, this effect of corner store. And the example, that's the example, the evidence for that is, for me, it's evident. Remind, please, the situation with the Sunday ban imposed on the commerce. Hypermarkets reacted in a very obvious way. Oh my God! They lost 1/7 of turnover, and they were earning money in weekends. Discounters, they are always very swift, and they, yes, of course, we finance our business from the incomes, from the revenues, so we do not need some external financing, so we comprise the weekend selling in Saturdays, Fridays. We invest in private markets and some brands imported from outside, from the producers, of course invited to the game on our terms, and they started growing. On the other hand, the small stores, but networked by the franchise, but not only the franchise, were given the Sundays. And very strong effect in competition process were, in my opinion, enacted by the lawyers and activated by the market and by the customers. What else? And it means that the franchise is the chance for the local markets, and it's very good medicine for the crises, let's say. because they are very strong in the local markets, because they compete with the discounters and proximity stores, I mean the small supermarkets, let's say. Hypermarkets are very much weakened. However, they started growing again, but it doesn't harm franchisers and franchise systems because they are very flexible, but flexible in the sense of resilience. They are very resilient, not penetrative as much as we could think. Independence. What is independence? That's the nominate contract, very open. Of course, in my opinion, it should be controlled by some general legal ways of controlling the imagination of franchisors, but the small stores, small areas, enriched by the services and very intelligently organized offers do well. For instance, you go to Żabka, you go to Special, you go to MPT, you go elsewhere. You have the private levels, it's obvious for the grand chains, it's a chain. You go for some local products, of course that's very local because we are small store. You need, for instance, to eat something to go and sip coffee. Yeah. And it works. So I think that's very promising concept for Poland, now getting very much modernized. In my opinion, in franchise retail chains, very modern instruments are being applied. All the coffee makers and other appliances you may find in the franchise stores. Independent can't afford. Maybe some vacations, maybe, but small gastronomy. You must have the man, the woman, the person to work on that. So that's, in my opinion, some optimum worked out and, let's say, forged in the fire of competition 20 years ago. Nowadays, we have some type of thriving systems. Some are better, some are worse, but it works. That's my opinion as the pamphletist and lobbyist, and the natural foe representing hypermarkets and discounters for many, many years. That's my opinion, to make some common denominator for the issues you raised and justified.
I thought that only lawyers speak for a long time, but historians is also.
Excuse me, stop me. You know, I'm horrible talker. It's a sickness.
But anyway, thank you for your input. And here we have also one lady from Italy, that maybe you would share also your perspective. What's the
I love
recipe?
more Florence.
What's the recipe to choose the right franchisor?
Okay, so usually you said it right. I don't have to choose a franchise, I don't have to choose a business, but I have to choose what I'm going to be doing for the next 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 years. So first of all, just look at yourself and see, for example, if I'm kind of a bear and I don't like to be in contact with the public, I would say just forget the retail. Just go maybe for something where you can work in the back office, like in a service franchise. If you feel comfortable, for example, to handle the angry customers, just go on the QSR. You will find them how many you want to, the angry customers. But in the end ask yourself, are you willing to follow rules given from somebody else for the next 10 years of your life? This is the number one question. because basically you are following rules. You can, I don't know, you can have your idea, you can have your opinion. Most seasoned franchisors do prefer what we call a blank table. So, for example, McDonald's does not want somebody who has been working in the food field before. Yeah.
Why? What's the reason why?
Because in that case, what McDonald's is teaching you in the 6 months of training is exactly how they want you to do things, period. So you don't have to invent anything. You don't have to, I'm sorry to say, think. Just execute. That's, I know it's painful, but that's the way it works. Especially when you're talking about a brand where it doesn't matter. I've been to McDonald's yesterday over here, and I was shocked because the kiosk did not have the English button. And I was struggling with Polish to understand what was going on my order. I know that's strange, but that's usually what I do when I go abroad. I just look at all the single brands that I'm franchising and see what is really happening. Another thing is, let's say, you need to take out of your pocket royalties and marketing fees. Too many franchisees do feel that this is a tax. Well, it's not. It's not a tax. Basically, you're paying the franchisor to do research and development, to help you when you're in need, to be at your side. So the ongoing assistance, so-called, thank you, at the end of the speech. When we're talking about marketing fee, okay, I do believe that everybody in this room knows McDonald's. Guess what? The marketing fee pays brand awareness. And there is another, usually what they call tax, which is the entrance fee. So the entrance fee is a fee that you have to pay to have the chance to use the brand and to access the know-how of the franchisors. So that's about it. I have to say, in Italy, we have a specific law for franchising. I know in Poland you do not have. So we are going under strict rules of what each and every voice of your contract is related to. So that's why we do not have too many lawyers.
Lawyers never enough.
Yeah, especially, okay. That's a long story short. And I would say, you are going to be, as a future franchisee, you are going to be a future entrepreneur. Remember that. Even if you have to follow the rule, you're still an entrepreneur. Your role is different from the one of the franchisor. Just keep your business up and running, help people working with you to understand better procedures, make them happy, pay them good, and then you will have a unit up and running with success, period. It's easier said than done, I know that.
Maya, so do I understand correctly? So if you are a creative person and you are going into business as a franchisee, for you it's like quite a painful life ahead.
Absolutely.
Not only the creative, but I think also independent person. When you are independent entrepreneur, and you are already entrepreneur, you want to take all the responsibility for your business, and also you want to have all the management and all the rules created by yourself. You are not good for franchisee, because then franchisee also in gastronomy is that with the blank table, no experience, but also in beauty sector, they also want to teach you everything, the franchisor, how to service, how to satisfy customers, not to have experience before, I mean the bad experience in their opinion. So if you are very independent or very creative or you want to be your own entrepreneur without like startuppers, or you want to expand your brand, your knowledge and so on, so it's not good to enter the franchisee point of view. I mean, this side.
I hope the audience got this point. So if you are too creative, too independent, that's not the business for you. So
But from the franchisor point of view, it's okay. But if you want to, if you think that your business is mature enough and it's proven enough to can be clone, I said it's like a clone. I mean, we have a lot of McDonald's, but we as a customers, we never know which one is brand owned and which one is franchise owned. I mean, then we know from this final receipt, but we don't supposed to know. It's standardized business. Yes, that's why from the franchisor point of view, you can, if you have proven business, you can be a franchisor.
Short.
For a short comment, yeah.
Yes, of course. So, I'll come to you shortly. Let's say half an hour. No, but being frank and serious. The problem, of course, accepting your remarks, it's very well pointed at the problem, but one have to be aware of one thing. The franchise is not the only form of integrating small or even the larger market players. Why? Because, for instance, if you are rich, you're having some money, of course you may try sign an agreement with the franchisor offering you, for instance, supermarket format, eventually some numerous 5 or 10 even stores, you give some guarantee, you pay some pledge and so on. But on the other hand, and in Poland it works quite well. For instance, you sign the agency agreement. The store is not yours. The concept, this concept of the store and the conditions of working are not yours, but you only sign the agreement and you work as the entrepreneur serving the service of running the store. For instance, that's for the people having no capital but having some, for instance, some competence. It's a very good solution. The other thing, for instance, there is some